Hearty shalom to you, Jeffrey Seif here, and my better half.
Wife, Barri Seif.
She is the best. You know, the Bible says, let us not love in word and speech, but in deed and in truth. This is a deed and truth moment, isn't it?
Yes. We're really excited that God tapped 8 people on the shoulder from Oregon to North Carolina to travel with us to Israel in early November on a chesed, a loving kindness trip to bless, to help those underserved in Israel. And you'll see in this photograph there is Sarah from North Carolina, myself. There's Margareta, also from North Carolina, Wendy from Oregon. There's Debbie and Carol from Texas. Also Ken, our wonderful producer, Jeff from Houston, and Dina and her interpreter from Sderot, Israel. And we're standing in a bomb shelter here. So we were able to bring your donated items, your handmade items, your gifts to Israel to bless. And so all of us convened, and we really got to meet up on that first Friday where we got to see each other. And Carol was, I don't know how she became the interrogated, but she was pulled aside by LL security, and they went through many of her things. They said to her, I don't know how it could be that this group brought over 28, almost 30 pieces of luggage.
I was interrogated, and that I was asked several questions, but the one that kept repeating is, why are you doing this? And I said, because we love people. And we just had things to give them. And they said, I made the mistake by saying, several people have made things and given to us, our team, to give out. And they were saying, why would they do that?
Carol took it in good stride. It can be disconcerting when legal authorities pull you aside. A police officer for 23 years. I know sometimes it ruffles feathers, but we're just doing our job to keep it safe. And let's face it, Barry, it is a little suspicious. 8 people bringing almost 30 suitcases?
Well, it's fun, and I think it's an opportunity to engage with the security staff and let them know how much we love Israel.
Yeah, because people think the suitcases, women travel with a lot. This is giveaway stuff that's compressed there, isn't it?
We're the only group that comes back with nothing, and we brought everything. So
we're now showing it now that when we pack these bags, we have these compressors that suck the air and it compresses everything to get as much as you can in those suitcases.
Yes, it's great. And our first stop was on that Friday where we brought a lot of homemade blankets and lap quilts for the elderly and senior citizens and Holocaust survivors to a suburb of South Tel Aviv with Shlomi and Miriam Abramov, who were very instrumental in Jewish evangelism for many years in Israel, and they still are today.
We were with a very high-profile largest international Jewish ministry in the world, and we were on the pioneer team of that 20 years ago. We're trained, very highly trained, and we are basically in mainstream evangelism.
Miriam led us through our first visit of our trip, a wonderful senior citizen home for elderly and Holocaust survivors. And it was enjoyable. We got to engage with them with dancing and singing and stories about God. We bring blankets to these wonderful citizens of this facility. And these blankets were made by many people in the United States, handmade quilts, lap quilts for these lovely individuals. And each has a little Bible verse on the corner to encourage and bless the user. And how could you not have joy with Miriam being present and Shlomi singing at the top of his voice, Shabbat Shalom, in his Moroccan Sephardic accent. A lot of fun.
And I was blessed by being there. And one of the ladies I prayed for, she said, took my hand and when I was leaving, and she said, angel.
Oh,
And I thought, wow. Wow, no, you're the angel. Yeah.
oftentimes when someone's communicating digitally, what's endeavoring to be communicated is the profundity of the speaker. Well, here it's less about teaching, it's the profundity of the exchange, the beauty with just regular people meeting regular people doing beautiful things. And you can just feel the Lord in the middle of all of that, can't you?
It's quite special because we have had many visits to this facility, and some of the people we see year or really every 6 months. I think this was probably our 20th trip here. And so you get familiar, there's faces that you don't see, but we really want to bring joy and love. And they find it amazing that these 8 pilgrims have traveled all this distance from America to come to them. And that even includes the facilitators at this facility who they are oftentimes listening, alert to our hearts. We've gotten to share the Besorah, the good news there with people in years past and even this year. We've gotten to sing and worship, and it's just extremely heartwarming. We had an opportunity to go to the beach in Rishon LeZion, and we set up our musical instruments, Sarah on the flute and the guitar, and with Miriam on the guitar as well. Miriam also makes handmade soaps with the gospel message included inside. And as we were strumming, the others were walking along, just saying hi, engaging with people who were really equipped in dress or undress, because it was the beach, to just share who they were, what were they doing in Israel, what did the people in Israel think of what is going on. They wanted to know what we were doing there as well. And our purpose was just to engage, to love, to share the good news, to share our hearts, to hear their hearts, and if given the opportunity, to pray for these Israelis. And it was a tender time. It wasn't a busy time as you would expect it to be on Friday morning, which is like our Saturday morning in the States. It's a day off in Israel. But it was a time of joy and a blessing. And we're so grateful to Shlomi and Miriam, who were our hosts. They're there in the land, and they are laboring unto the Lord. Wendy, Sandy, and Carol just had to get their feet wet in the Mediterranean. It was a great day. That Mediterranean has seen many, many faces from the Bible, including Paul, who went from that area on his missionary journeys 2,000 years ago.
We're seeing a modern mission experience at work digitally through the miracle that is television and the cameras. Truth of the matter is, though, that's the very kind of exchanges that were at play thousands of years ago when Yeshua made his way around the world, when Rabbi Paul made his way around the Mediterranean world. I see here simple acts of kindness. And in a world where kindness is in such high demand and such short supply, you know it's going to get a hearing. And Barry, you were there with the team just loving in Yeshua's name.
It's really special because leading up to the trips, we meet on Zoom monthly. So you get to know the personalities a little bit, but to really be together in a place, and it's not just an itinerary of places, but I like to say that God is larger than the sum of all of our parts. And when you go to Israel, you sense that God's presence is there in a beautiful way.
Well, I've always thought, and I know you would agree with me, that this lady is beautiful inside and out. And the beautiful way here, a lot of times people like myself, Bible teachers, professors, you want to come up with something new in biblical literature to tell. But sometimes there's value in just remembering what's old. Jesus said, love one another. By this, all men and women will know that you are my disciples. And I think you and the team made that point quite well in this last trip.
Well, we're seed planters of love, and it's what a better place to spread love and spread seeds than in the land of Israel. And so we really appreciate you coming along with us and seeing what God is doing today in the land of Israel.
Yes, and thank you for planting seeds in our ministry to help us do what we do. Your kindness is greatly appreciated. God bless.